Good evening and welcome to the City West Hotel, where we are live for the 2016 Camogie All-Stars, sponsored by Liberty Insurance. You might be able to hear just behind us, almost 700 guests are gathering in anticipation of what is always a very special evening. The Camogie All-Stars recognise and celebrate the outstanding achievements of the country's finest camogie players. I'm delighted to say we're joined this evening by a number of very special guests who are going to share with us their thoughts on this year's championships, look ahead to this evening's awards, and answer some of the questions that you've sent in to us over the last number of days. On my left, firstly, from Carlow is Ciara Quirk. A Kilkenny duo, Jenny Clifford and Michelle Quilty, representing the rebel county of Cork, Orla Cotter, Kate Kelly, Wexford's finest, and all of our players this evening are all nominated for at least one award. Ladies, you're very welcome this evening, and thank you very much for taking the time to join us. It is a very busy schedule, so we're going to get proceedings underway. Ciara, I'm going to start with you. On your Twitter handle, your bio says, "We won in Croke Park, I'm living the dream." Looking back to that second Sunday in September, when Carlow played for the very first time in Croke Park, when you won the K-Mills Cup and the All-Ireland Premier Junior Final. A really special moment for you in your camogie career.
Oh my god, it was unbelievable. It definitely was the highlight. Like the highlight of the day was running out onto Croke Park. It actually felt like there was 82,000 people in Croke Park and every single one out from Carlow. But like it was just amazing, and it's been amazing ever since. Like we're walking around Carlow like we're absolutely celebrities, like you know, and it's unbelievable. Like it's great.
You are very modest. I was talking to you beforehand, but the headline on the Monday morning was the hat trick heroine. So 3 goals in the final must have been very satisfying in a personal way.
Yeah, it was. It was like it was just. I really couldn't believe that it actually happened. It was like, oh my god, what actually happened there the last hour? But no, the first goal probably was the best feeling because it was actually like, oh my god, I scored a goal for Mark. Then the next one was like, okay, we actually have to win the match now. So it was like, okay, goal. Yeah, no, it was brilliant. Like it was great to get it. Like so.
Camogie wouldn't traditionally be a massive sport in Carlow. It wouldn't be a camogie stronghold in the county of Carlow, and yet, I know from the Camogie Association, there's been a lot of progress made in relation to coaching structures, games development on the ground. You've seen that.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like since I was under 12, there's been a massive increase in development in county. For camogie, like there was massive work put in by a lot of people, like Joe Valerie Crane, Mary Smith, like my mother Nuala Quirk and Jack Barco. Like and ever since the development has gone unbelievable. For the first time this year, we've had about 50 under 14 girls taking part. First time ever we could put 2 teams into the under 14 development squad, and it's amazing to see it, like you know, and it's getting stronger. And us playing in Croke Park just goes to show there's girls from Carlow in the stand and they're like, we can actually play in Croke Park, we're Carlow, we can get there. So it's belief as well, so it's brilliant that we could lead by example in Croke Park. So.
It's good to get a shout out to your mother there as well, which is great. I'm sure she's at home watching this now, is she?
Yeah.
I suppose winning the Premier Junior title, competing next year in the Intermediate Championship, you know, last year you won the Junior A's, that can only help raise the profile and grow the game throughout the county.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like we competed in Division 2, the league this year, and it was great preparation for us, like, and a lot of us teams are intermediate. So it'll take a lot of work again next year, but I think we'll be up there anyway. We hope to be anyway, come the second Sunday in September. So
I know there was great support in Croke Park for that final. I saw a few Carlow flags in the car park outside. It's fair to say, is it? There's a bit of a Carlow mafiosi outside here, is there?
It's brilliant. Like, sure, something like this doesn't come around too often in Carlow, so when it happens, everyone gets out to support us, like, you know, so it's brilliant. Yeah.
Congratulations and have a great evening.
Thanks a million.
Jenny, no less than Ciara, an incredible season for you too, helping Kilkenny to lift the Intermediate All-Ireland title and also being nominated this evening as Intermediate Player of the Year by your peers.
Yeah, it was a brilliant opportunity. If I told me at the start of the year, I would have said no, but I was delighted to be involved with Kilkenny development this year, and just delighted to come away with a win.
The success of both teams is obvious, so there's a lot of strength and depth there. Do you train together, the two squads? We'll hear from Michelle in a little while, but you do train together, don't you?
No, we don't train together. just seeing the seniors, how well they were doing this year really was our motivation, seeing them how well they did in the league, and we weren't so lucky in the league, so seeing them really progressing was really what was our motivation to succeed this year.
The Kilkenny hurlers are famous for their training sessions. Is it very competitive with the senior squad? You dying to get in there and take the place of your opposite number?
Yeah, I'd love to be in with the senior squad, and hopefully in years to come I probably will be in the senior squad, but no, it's not really competitive. Like, we both stick together and we both back each other to the left.
All of you are playing at the elite end of your sport, but actually, Jenny, you have represented Ireland at underage football as well, so it's a bit of a balancing act there as well.
No, I don't play the soccer anymore, unfortunately. I just kind of went with camogie this year, but I grew up kind of, soccer was my one and only sport, and then I played Ireland and I just kind of wanted to give it a go with camogie, and I was pretty happy this year that it turned out to be.
It worked out for the best. You don't miss the football?
Sometimes I would, yeah, but when you're winning, it's just, I don't regret it at all.
And I suppose looking at the growth of women in sport over the last number of years and the different profile it's received and the different brands that are investing in, you've seen it grow over those years.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like even Liberty Insurance tonight covering the All-Stars, it's just brilliant. Like even RTE covering the All-Ireland, it just makes kids want to grow up and play on telly in Croke Park. It's a dream come true. Like.
One of the questions we receive on through our social media channels was, and you can look at the camera here, who is the biggest character on the intermediate Kilkenny team? I'm putting you on the spot now.
I'm going to have to give it to Roisin Breen. She's definitely a character in our squad.
She's watching this, I'm sure. Jenny, thank you very much and have a great evening tonight. Orla, given all that you've achieved in the game, 5 All-Ireland titles, 3 All-Stars, it's 8 weeks since that final defeat. It must still be tough, it must still be hard, even tonight.
Yeah, no, it's disappointing. I suppose when you reflect on the game, Kilkenny were definitely worthy of their win. But it's always going to be disappointing. We'll just, I suppose, have to use it for next year maybe as a driving on. You know, you don't win every year, and I suppose it takes, you need to lose them to win them as well, as they say.
It is a consolation season, though, to be nominated for an award and also nominated by your peers as a player's player every year.
Yeah, I suppose it's a small consolation. I think any player on the team at the start of the year, they set out to win an All-Ireland, not to win an All-Star maybe, but it's a nice consolation, and it's nice to be here at the camogie function at the end of the year. You know.
The commitment of camogie players is certainly on a par with your hurling counterparts. How do you unwind, given the hectic training schedule you have, balancing work commitments as well?
Yeah, it's busy during the year when you're training and working. But I suppose just kind of hanging out with your friends, you know, going for dinner, going to the cinema. I read a lot as well, so you would be busy, but it's nice to chill out as well. It's important to have your free rest days as well.
I do know from speaking with different players over the last number of years, there is a very strict dietary regime there. One of the questions that we received earlier today was, what is your guilty food pleasure?
Probably have to be chocolate, I'd say.
That's fair enough. Big fan of Willy Wonka. So. Are you superstitious? Is there any pre-game ritual? Maybe not now, but when you were growing up.
When I was younger, I was definitely superstitious. I think I pulled my socks up for a game and played really, really good, so I decided, you know, I'd pull my socks up for every game for a year or two there. But in the last years now, or then another one as well with Aoife Murray, our goalkeeper, the two of us were always the last two out of the dressing room. But the last few years now, I've kind of abandoned all superstitions. I've grown up small of it.
And to anyone in the Rebel County growing up and having you as a role model, what advice would you give them?
I suppose one piece of advice, I suppose it's a bit of a cliche, but one coach said to us a few years ago, hard work will be talent if talent doesn't work hard. And it's just one that I suppose has stuck with me in the last few years.
It certainly served you well. Well done again and good luck this evening.
Thank you.
Kate, I spoke with Orla there about tough to lose in the final. Losing in a semi-final is tough, the penultimate stage of the championship, and to lose in extra time as well. That's a bitter pill to swallow.
Yeah, it definitely is. It definitely makes it tough getting that far to extra time and being 5-6 minutes away from Croke Park. Yeah, I suppose that makes you just a little bit stronger for next year and has motivation to do that a bit better in the year to come.
I was going to ask you about that. You're going to come back a stronger team because of that loss.
Yeah, you'd like to think that you're going to bottle that kind of disappointment, and you know, when you lose a game like that, it's seriously a disappointing dressing room to be in. So yeah, you'd be hoping that you'd bottle that and bring it forward to next year and progress and get to the semi-finals and make a step further and get to the All-Ireland final. That is, as you say, your goal at the start of the year. So
8 All-Star awards to your name. Speaking to you beforehand, you're still as excited about this one as if it was your first, and you're nominated for your 9th award tonight.
Yeah, I think it's a very special night for any player to be picked as a nominee, let alone an All-Star. So yeah, I do. Every year is a new year. You're only as good as your last game, and it is kind of a very special night to get out of gear and meet all the players that you're fighting with all year. And
that's why we separated order from Michelle there. Yeah.
So yeah, it's always a great kind of night to meet the girls and get to know them off the pitch, because you know everyone gives up a lot of things and they make a big commitment to put in the time playing, and it's just a nice night to let the hair down and mingle with players from other teams and get to know them outside the game.
Given all that you've achieved in the game, what other sport would you have considered if it wasn't camogie that you were playing? You're obviously an elite sports person, so I'm sure those skills are transferable. Anything you would have played? Is it soccer that Jenny played, rugby, any other sports?
Yeah, I suppose I would have played a lot of ladies football as well. Would have done a good bit of that as a junior player, so I suppose that would have probably been the game I would have fallen into if I hadn't been playing camogie, but definitely my first love is without camogie. So.
And it has served you well as well. You're also in your spare time a committee member of the WGPA. How do you find helping your fellow players and peers?
Yeah, it's been an exciting couple of years with the WGPA, and it's been great to get to know the players, kind of the other side of what they do, and assisting them kind of, you know, inter-county players put in the same amount of work and effort as county hurlers and men and different people. So it's been great getting to know the players off the field, assisting them in that, and they, you know, players travel from Dublin maybe to Cork or Dublin to Wexford or whatever to train with their county, and there's a huge commitment and they do it for the love of the game. So it's great to be able to help them any way we can in terms of making that an easier process. And you know, it's all about profiling the game and making it that it's special. And you know, the likes of Liberty coming on board, that's been a huge, you know, promotion to the game, and I think that's getting stronger over time, which is fantastic. And the likes of the group of the WGPA, like getting the players behind that and putting in as much as they can into promoting the game has been special a couple of years.
Thank you for the unprompted plug. It's much appreciated. You will make history tonight if you win a 9th award. You will equal the record number of All-Stars received by any player, so the very best of luck this year. Michelle, finally, if someone was to say to you at the beginning of the year that you were going to climb the steps of Croke Park, you were going to lift the O'Duffy Cup, would you have believed them?
Probably not. I know at the start of the year, you know, you do set out to win the All-Ireland, you know, but you know, it is a dream kind of coming up and stuff like that, so you would always want to win, but I suppose at the start of the year, you never take anything for granted, so you have to work hard and put in the groundwork to do it, and you know, we did that and thankfully paid off.
22 years in any county is a famine. In Kilkenny, that's a tough cross to bear. But you bridged that gap this year with that victory. Were you very conscious of the weight of history on your shoulders?
No, I think I suppose in Kilkenny it's such a stronghold for hurling, and you know, the way the men have grown over the last number of years, I suppose the camogie pitch can take a bit of a backseat, and people do forget that it has been 22 years, because you know, often people meet you and if you tell them, you know, you haven't won 22 years, they're like, you know, they can't believe it because you're from Kilkenny. So I do think that, you know, obviously it was a great achievement, and I don't think we felt pressure as players, because you know, at the end of the day you have to focus on the match, and that's the most important thing, so you let all the outside stuff kind of just disappear and things like that. But you know, I do think it was a great win obviously afterwards too.
There's a lot of young talent on that team, so potential maybe for Kilkenny to really make a mark in the game in the coming years.
Yeah, definitely, and I suppose even, you know, seeing the intermediates and things like that winning as well, you know, bodes well for Kilkenny camogie going, you know, in the future, and I do think there's a good blend there of the youth and obviously the experienced girls as well, and makes all the difference, so I think that's important.
And obviously we're here this evening to celebrate the achievements of players, but also managers. Having someone like Anne Downey in the changing room with you, given that all she's achieved in the game, that must be a great source of inspiration for the players.
Yeah, you know, any day you have Anne Downey in your dressing room, or you know, even in the presence of her, she kind of has that hold over you. But it was great to have Anne there. You know, she brings a world of knowledge and experience with her, and you know, she's great to have her in the dressing room. She's always there to say, you know, encourage you and give you the confidence that you need. I think that was a big thing for us this year. She really came in and you know, kind of turned things upside down, and you know, kind of went down at the root level, and you know, got to the bottom of a lot of her kind of issues over the last 22 years and things. So she definitely turned them around, and I think confidence and you know, putting belief into the girls was part of that.
One of the questions we received was a scenario, potentially, that you were put forward to take part in James Corden's Carpool Karaoke. Who would you have with you as backup and why?
I think that would make it good. So I'd have to say I'd bring Emma Kavanagh along with me too, because probably having it over her head, but sure, we give it a go anyway.
Ladies, you've been great company. Thank you very much. I believe we might just be up to time, or have we time for one more? I believe we have. We've received a number of additional questions, so maybe just to conclude things, we'll wrap things up. This is a question for Kate. Of all of your All-Ireland wins and All-Stars that you've achieved, what would be your most memorable over the last number of years throughout your career?
I suppose we had a lot of really memorable days in the Wexford jersey, and probably the first All-Ireland, and especially the semi-final getting to it, like just that feeling of eventually making it to Croke Park was something special, and then actually getting to Croke Park and winning it that year was an unbelievable, so that probably is top. There's many, I have to say, many special days.
A question for Orla. Who was your toughest opponent in this year's championship?
I suppose playing Wexford in the semi-final, out in midfielders were very strong. Kate is always hanging around there as well. In the All-Ireland final as well, keeping Tisco and Dalton were always around the middle, so there's many tough players out there.
Question for Jenny. What keeps you going? It is tough. There's a huge commitment required, balancing work and that training. What keeps you going in the winter?
Well, what keeps me going is if we come out with a win at the end of the year, it's so worth it. But like, just keep driving yourself on and keep working hard to get that win. That's what really drives me out.
Michelle, as an All-Ireland senior winning camogie captain, what advice would you give to someone starting off in camogie, someone who looks up to you as their inspiration?
I think the main thing is obviously just listening to your coaches and, obviously take on board everything that they have to say and stuff. Even get out to as many matches as you can, look at your peers and, the girls, that's ahead of you playing senior and things like that. Any little tips you can get from them during the day and things, that's kind of what I say to them.
Kira, what would you most look forward to in the off-season? No pressure from training and matches.
Just to even just sit at home. It's just, it's great.
Pleasure in and of itself.
Yeah.
Ladies, thank you very much. This is the first ever Facebook Live event that Liberty Insurance has held. We'd like to wish you all the very best of luck this evening. Thank you for taking part. Have a great night.